Last night I was thinking, we were going to come in here this morning, we were going to talk about Football Friday, and we're going to get into the whole weekend and everything else. And watching this football game last night between the Panthers and the Bears, I was a little conflicted. I was like, okay, I want my buddy Frank Reich to win, but what do I want for the Giants? Because the Giants are right there at the top of this draft. So with the Carolina Panthers losing, the Giants actually jump ahead of the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Bears pick, but they are still 2 picks behind the number 1 overall pick because that's the Carolina pick that the Chicago Bears own. Mm-hmm. So they are in the 3rd spot right now, and they are behind Arizona, who's starting Kyler Murray now, so maybe they'll start figuring stuff out. And then, and of course, the Carolina Panthers, which the pick is the Chicago Bears pick. So, which is amazing. So I was actually watching both quarterbacks last night just to see what they were going to look like, to see if they were going to both bounce back from the previous week in their poor performances. And, they played average at best. I would give each guy a C. There were 4 or 5 times where either Bryce Young or Tyson Bagent had guys running wide open and they picked the wrong guy for whatever reason. Maybe they don't understand all the concepts yet. Maybe they're unable to read defenses right now. Maybe they're not processing quick enough. But that's all part and parcel of being a rookie. But I guess you would say this morning you wake up and the undrafted rookie out of Shepherd University outplayed the number 1 overall pick out of Alabama.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
And
now,
if you're an owner of the Carolina Panthers like David Tepper is, that's a tough pill to swallow. That is a tough thing to watch, especially when your team is featured on national TV. Even though this is a game that really nobody was paying that much attention to, but that's a tough one to take. But it is going to shake out in a very interesting way, and the Kyler Murray situation with the Cardinals could really affect the Giants. And I don't know if people are ignoring the fact that his contract is what it is when they're talking about this, because everybody that I hear talking about the Arizona Cardinals, I hear this one theme. This is all the national NFL pundits. Is there anything Kyler Murray can do that'll make them not take a quarterback, the Cardinals that is, at the top of this draft? Could he, if he played great, does it even matter? And I'm thinking to myself, guys, it's going to be a very difficult out in that contract. I don't know if people are not looking at that or they're just assuming that the Cardinals will bite the bullet with some absolutely crazy dead cap number. But that is going to be the X factor for the Giants. You're assuming that the Bears, one of those 2 picks, either the Carolina pick or their own, will be ahead of the Giants. You're going to have to assume that. But what are the Cardinals going to do? Now, if Kyler Murray plays well and they end up winning some games, then it's not a conversation. But I can't imagine him stepping in after a year off. And the last time we saw him, the guy looked like he never played the position before in his life.
I will say this, that he has a lot to prove. He's probably got a chip on his shoulder. He's probably kept his head, I know he's kept his head down for the last, 12 to 14 months. And remember, the last time we saw him, he was bitching and complaining after that playoff loss to the Rams where he played awful. And for some unbeknownst reason to me, and maybe this is why that Steve Keim, the GM out there in Arizona, got fired, they gave him a contract extension. They also gave a contract extension to Cliff Kingsbury, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing blew up after that. And the Bidwell family's got issues out there, employment issues, and there's all sorts of lawsuits and things of that nature coming down the pike. I don't know. This place sounded like it was like a fraternity house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It sounds like it was probably fun for a little bit. Then when things went to hell, it was terrible. And they had that in-season Hard Knocks, too, that was following them around as it was crumbling to the ground. All right, so this is the Cardinals' schedule the rest of the way. Tell me if you got some wins in here, if Kyler Murray plays reasonably well. All right?
Okay.
They're hosting the Falcons this week.
Yep.
Think they can win that game?
Yep.
They are going to Houston the week after that.
They can win that game.
Okay. They are hosting the Rams.
They can win that game, depending on who's playing quarterback for the Rams. Maybe it's Carson Wentz by that time.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, they've got a chance to win.
They got a chance to win
their next 3 games. Yeah. All right. Now, next 2 weeks, a little bit tougher. They go to Pittsburgh.
It could be a hard game for them and Kyler Murray. Cold weather.
Yeah.
Small hands, that kind of thing.
Cold weather, small hand, small guy.
Yeah,
actually, not just
exactly.
small
Very
hand,
small.
just a very small man in general.
Yes.
Then they host the 49ers.
Tough game. I think the 49ers will come out of the bye this week, and they'll be on fire again.
Okay.
Again, but we always have to worry about or think about what are these teams and what are the condition these teams are going to be in when they play them. So on paper right now, I could say a loss.
Okay, and how about the Christmas Eve treat that we all will get at 4:25? Cardinals, Bears in Chicago.
Well, cold, freezing. I don't know if Justin Fields is playing by that time.
Well, a good thing for the Giants, one of those teams has to win.
Right.
One of those teams has to win. And then you got the Eagles on New Year's Eve. It depends if the Eagles have everything wrapped up or not. And then they end with the Seahawks. They're hosting the Seahawks.
And the Seahawks will probably be playing for something.
Right. So, I mean, they
have a chance to win. I think maybe 3 more games, I think, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, if they win 3 more games, and that's great for the Giants.
And by the way, Kyler Murray could end all that talk by leading his team to victory.
Yeah, exactly. He could. I mean, he's got that opportunity to. Now, if the Giants stick with Tommy DeVito, and I am hoping that he plays well, but let's get real. I mean, this is a guy that obviously
he's not ready to play 4 quarters in a National Football League game at the level that you need to play in order to beat some of these teams on their schedule.
So, I mean, there really is there's a chance that the Giants do not win a game the rest of the way. There really is a legitimate chance. So they could be right up there, and that would be some exciting stuff, man.
You know who's going to be mad about that, don't you?
Who's going to be mad about what?
If they don't win another game?
Tony Toronto.
No, well, yeah, Tony's. Well, it's hard to talk to Tony. It's hard to talk to Bobby D. It's hard to talk to Harvey, the Silver Fox. It's hard to talk to
John
any of those
Mara.
guys. John Mara would be upset, of course, but I think Xavier McKinney would really be upset.
Oh, jeez.
Because he's the guy that's got all the answers on defense, and I don't know if you saw what Wink Martindale said in regard to that when they finally were able to ask him some questions.
That's right. So coordinators speak on Thursdays. This was the first time that Wink Martindale could speak publicly about Xavier McKinney saying that the coaches don't listen to the leaders on the team. Wink said this is the first time in his career that someone has ever complained like that publicly about him as a coach, essentially.
That's a little passive-aggressive, isn't it?
Who? Which
Wink,
one?
Like Wink, basically saying what he's saying about Xavier McKinney. Now, that comment by the defensive coordinator, most coaches, that's a player blowing off steam, that kind of thing. But in this case, Wink Martindale said, this is the first time this ever happened to me. And the reason that I think that Wink is saying that is because the last thing you want is your players turning on you. Especially publicly.
I mean, I didn't think it was passive aggressive. I thought it was aggressive. I know it sounded like to me that they spoke about it, and he just felt like he needed to get out there and get out in front of it, saying, "Hey, if this thing falls apart, don't look at me. Look at these players."
But then he also said, "I just told him that it hurts the locker room. It hurts the defensive group when you say something like that." And I guess he spoke with the team leaders, and then they asked, "Well, is he playing this week? Is he going to start this week?" And then he deferred to Dabes.
To Dabes.
But
this is the type of stuff that how the coaching staff handles it will permeate throughout the rest of the locker room.
I wouldn't start him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a ridiculous statement to say after that loss. Absolutely ridiculous, especially when you ended up playing as poorly as you did. I mean, he ain't
going to be here next year, man.
Well, of course not. This is also a guy, ended up going on that ATV and breaking his wrist last year during the bye week. I mean, it just the self-awareness of some of these guys just blows my mind. But yeah, then this is walking into this game, I can't even imagine.
It's amazing. A lot of these guys from Alabama, when you put them collectively together in college, they're their best team on the field, and they probably have maybe 2 games that are tough games for them.
Yeah,
maybe 3. Every other game, they just house everybody.
Yeah. And
then they get to the pros. Now, not all of them. A lot of the Alabama kids actually do well. But it's just mind-numbing to me that, they can come in and start making these statements. And, you find out about a few people when things are going south.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they say. You're really going to find out who somebody is when things aren't going their way. I mean,
as they say, adversity doesn't create character; it reveals it.
Reveals character. That's
yes.
what it is, right there.
Yes.
Yeah. So, 40-0. Week 1, Cowboys coming into MetLife Stadium when the Giants were healthy in first game of the season. Healthy. Right now, they are playing with a third-string quarterback. The Cowboys are coming off a loss to the Eagles. They are home, and Tommy DeVito is starting.
And here's the thing about the Giants going to the Raiders last week that I was talking about. It was that Daniel Jones was coming back. Saquon Barkley was healthy. Those two guys were going to be able to lead the offense. The thing that you can't predict in any of this crap is whether or not a guy is going to make it through the game.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting Daniel Jones's knee to buckle in the first quarter, right at the end of the first quarter.
Right. I mean, yeah, nobody is.
And then when that happens, forget it. It's all over with.
Yeah, let's see if it got up. It is now officially, the spread with Giants-Cowboys is now officially bigger than that Rams-Jets game back in December of 2020.
We up to 17 now?
17.5.
All right, so,
minus 2,200 on the money line. So
you know what's going to happen? It's 31-7.
Okay.
And then the Giants going to score an, by the way, touchdown.
Yeah, but
it's going to be 31-14.
I'm not even
they're going to get 17.5 points.
I'm not even talking about the spread. I'm just talking about if the Giants were to win this game, this would be the biggest upset pulled off in the regular season that you probably could ever remember by a New York team. Because that team back, it was week 16, 17, where the Jets went out to L.A., had 0 wins. They were a 17-point underdog. They were the Rams were minus 1,900 on the money line. This is now worse than that. They're a 17.5 point underdog in the NFL. If you wanted to win $100 on the Dallas Cowboys to win the game, you would have to put up $2,200 just to win $100. This right here is like Penn State taking on Punxsutawney Community College. That's the type of line that we're talking about right now with minus 2,200. It's embarrassing. And this is a team that I thought the Giants in the beginning of the season would be right there with the Cowboys. And this is how far apart they are. This is a division rival. And there's not a single person on the planet that thinks that they can win this game.
Well, you saw the struggle last night of 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Holy hell.
And you're going to see the struggle of another rookie quarterback this week. Hopefully Tommy plays well and can get through the game and see everything that he needs to see. And maybe Brian and Dable and Mike Kafka will keep it somewhat simple for the young man so they don't put him out there to the wolves. I mean, this is going to be it's a tough thing to do. Like, people don't understand how hard it is to do this and to do it on the road and to do it in Dallas and to do it after they're coming off of a loss. I mean, like, all the different things we think about when we talk about these games and these spreads and everything else. It's an impossible spot. It really is. I mean, I don't remember a spot being this. Well, I mean, I guess I do at the end of the Joe Judge era. Yeah. They had issues there too. They had major issues, and I feel like it's deja vu right now.
It's true. I mean, I wonder if they were this. I'd like to go back and see those games to see if they were this big of an underdog in any one of the games that they played at the end of the Joe Judge era. Because it is tough to get up to 17.5 in an NFL game. I mean, This is not what Brian Daboll envisioned this year. This is not what any Giant fan envisioned. This is not what John Mara envisioned. This is not what all of us envisioned. I mean, it's really, really ugly. And this is but you know what? If you're one of those guys that thinks that the only way they're going to be able to turn the page and get the winning ways back is by getting one of these great quarterbacks in this draft, and hopefully Brian Daboll can get his hands on them from the beginning of his NFL career, then games like this are great.
So those Giants in 2021, which is the year we're talking about, lost 7 of their last 8. They actually beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Daniel Jones did play in that game. And then the next game was Miami, and that's when Glennon ended up getting into the game. They lost 20-9, 37-21, 21-6, 34-10, 29-3, and then 22-7.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like where we are right now.
Yeah, but you would sign for that right now if you're a Giants fan, because that means that you would win one more game. You'd end up with 3 wins on the season, and you'd basically be in prime position to get a franchise quarterback in this draft.
You know what's amazing? You look back at the game that they beat the Eagles. So it was at home.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Eagles 13-7. Daniel Jones played that game. He was 19-30, 202, and 1 TD. Jalen Hurts was the quarterback that day for the Eagles because he was just getting into the league at the time. And he had thrown 3 interceptions in that game.
He got pretty good after that game, didn't he?
Yeah,
pretty good.
Took him a while, but that's the point. Like, everybody wants immediate success for a lot of these young kids, and it takes them a while, to understand where they fit in the whole ecosystem of the NFL. That's why those 2 kids last night had moments, you're like, wow, they could really play. And then there are moments like, oh my God, you missed that guy running wide open. Thanks so much for watching the video.
Please like and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when we're dropping new content.